Okay everybody, this is a second attempt to make a video, and we're going to see if it freezes or stops or doesn't get broadcasted. My name is Leslie Williams. I live in San Diego County, San Diego, California. I live in La Jolla. I am a target victim and activist concerning the continued criminal expeditions of what is known as gang stalking. And it's not stalking by gangs. Excuse me. So you can go to YouTube and type in this I'm going to name the name right now of two YouTube titles. Okay? The first one is Gang Stalking Bullying on Steroids, and the second one is Stalked in San Antonio. Now, these are two YouTube videos of two separate news broadcasts, so you can clearly be able to see that gang stalking is not only just happening, but also the fact that it's happening in every state in the United States. All my descriptions can be Googled. I'm making this video to inform, to expose the truth. So pay close attention. If at any time while I'm making this video, if the video abruptly stops, still research what I've stated up to that point and meticulously research every single video that is incorporated within the tweet link, okay, that I incorporated within the title of this Periscope video. Okay, my phone is hacked. Make no mistake about it. So I have been kicked off of Periscope in the middle of live broadcast. To where I'm at right now, and or coming on the property, and or claims they heard me, saw me, or saw my property while I'm on this property at any time that I am on this property in the next 72 hours. I don't care who it is, I don't care how old they are, I don't care what type of person they are, and I don't care about what they say, including them being used to call the police. It will be gang stalking. If I'm arrested for illegal lodging, trespassing, or encroachment on any property in the next 30 days, it will be because of gang stalking. Google gang stalking and police. Hold on. Okay. Now, my fellow American citizens, what I'm going to do in this video, because this is a lawyer video, and so I don't have to go into, and as well, so I don't have to go into regurgitating everything I know and everything that's happened to me as a result of being a continued victim of this crime. I'm going to direct you to the other videos that are incorporated within this Periscope account, so you can go and watch as many as you feel free to do so. And I'm saying that so I don't have to constantly keep regurgitating myself in my videos pertaining to other details that I've decided not to incorporate within this video, because then the video will end up being extremely long. Periodically throughout this video, I will be checking to make sure I'm still live broadcasting. And I am live broadcasting through the lens on the back of my phone. And the reason why I'm stating that is because at least in 7 videos through Periscope, as I'm in the middle of making the videos, the video recording literally got switched from the lens that is on the back of my phone to recording from the home screen. Now, that can be done by me while I'm in the middle of broadcasting. So how is that occurring? And when you watch enough of my videos in this Periscope account, you will literally see it occurring in real time. I'm going to go ahead and fly right into the evidence portion of this video. Okay. And just before I do that, I'm also going to state pertaining to predictions. Let's see if anything occurs that I have ever predicted in email files, tweets on Twitters, blogs, video files, and tape recording audio files. That way, pretty much all predictions that I have ever made, ever, are in effect. Right now, I am literally in an emergency mode because this campaign is escalating again. And usually when that occurs, they either do it to try and keep you sucked back into the psychological trauma, to keep it continuous, and or for it to be a prelude, but not limited to, assaults, robberies, arrests, tickets, and being banned from any place that I go to, including public transportation services. Hold on. So you need to go into this Periscope account to watch as many of my videos as you feel that you want to, so you can see more details concerning what has been occurring towards me. Now, what I did was I incorporated a tweet link in the title of this Periscope video. What you need to do is write down the URL characters of it, and then go to your URL address bar and type them in and press enter. And just for the sake of anybody that might be watching this video or that does, if they don't know what a URL address bar is, it's that area on your monitor where you would type in www.google.com. Okay, so I just want to throw that out there because I actually had to be told what a URL address bar is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain the technique that is the evidence that is incorporated within the links that are incorporated within the tweet link that I incorporated within the title of this Periscope video. Okay, so you can get an idea about how this is evidence, and the fact that what I'm going to and what's being exposed as far as the evidence go and my statements is all over the internet to be an identified technique of gang stalking crimes, identified and implicated and exposed by tens of thousands of Americans all over this country, all over the internet, and other targeted individuals in other countries as well. So let me just check one more time to make sure that I'm live broadcasting okay. I just went to go make a video and it froze. Okay, that's the video that's below this one in this account. I might end up erasing that, so if you don't see it, then that will mean that I did decide to erase it. So what I'm going to do right now is briefly detail to you, because remember, these details have been more expanded on pertaining to the description of the technique I'm about to explain to you briefly, is explained more in-depthly in my other Periscope videos as well pertaining to this account. So you'll be able to hear a little bit more about that if you decide to watch those videos. Now, one of the main techniques that is being perpetrated against tens of thousands of Americans as a result of them being gang stalking victims as well, hold on a second, is because gang stalking is a kind of a crime that intentionally wants to let you know you're a victim of it, because that's how they're able to achieve the multiple different criminal motivations that can even be attached to just one technique. And I don't have time in this video to explain what all that means. Just stay tuned to this account, okay, and you will understand over time. Now, one of the main techniques of gang stalking, two of the main techniques of gang stalking is it's not stalking by gangs. The stalking of gang stalking is illegal GPS tracking and covert physical surveillance, okay, propped up and managed by the filthy, psycho, demented animals that perpetrate this crime from behind the scenes, and covert physical surveillance. So all my descriptions can be Googled to gang stalking, then go back and type in each description to organized stalking. And you will see tens of thousands of Americans are exposing this all over the internet. Now, so it's a crime that and the gang stalking is where they, as a result of the people who are managing the crime that's happening to you, as a result of them knowing where you're at all times in real time, through the stalking of gang stalking, which I've already detailed what that is, as a result of them knowing where you're at all times, whether you're stationary and or mobile, as a result of them knowing where you're at through the GPS tracking and the covert physical surveillance, they are then able to know how and when to gang up on you through the people they use for the staged harassment that is connected to the gang stalking crimes, including staged events which are called street theaters and gang stalking crimes. So you can Google that as well. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and say right now, which I've already said, that you can Google all my descriptions, so I don't have to keep saying that you can Google that as well. Now, so just bear with me. This is going to be a pretty good video. So it's all over the internet that one of the main aspects of this crime is to intentionally let you know you're a victim of it, by and through, but not limited to, the techniques, methods, tactics, and maneuvers, okay? And within those is the harassment and the staged events, okay? Because this is a crime that one of the main sub-motivations of this crime is to intentionally induce what is known as hate dissemination. They want you to hate them because they know that when any human being is being harassed by anybody for any reason, it's going to provoke a mental and emotional response as a result of the brain constantly being stimulated to have this response, okay? Negative emotions, negative thought processes that you end up having because of the harassment. You're constantly having to reprocess this over and over and over again, and it wears you out mentally, emotionally, physiologically, biologically, and that's what they want. It's all about abuse and victimization and traumatization at the end of the day, in reference to the motivation behind the harassment. But it's also done to break you down. Now, the criminal motivations that are attached to all this are in the hundreds, and one target can be picked for up to 20 crimes. Any crime that you can think of they're involved in. So stay with this video, and I guarantee you will be glad you did as you continue to hear me speak. So I've already mentioned that one of the main goals of gang stalking is to intentionally let the target know that they're being subject to a slew of techniques of harassment, staged assaults, staged robberies, even rapes, covertly created homelessness that they intentionally, creatively, overtly, directly meant for you to know that it was that the creation of the homelessness of you was because of this crime. And they usually do this through association techniques, through language, and other methods of association that they intentionally, mentally let you be aware of, because they know you're going to be able to figure it out, because they know that gang stalking victims are trying to figure out how can all this be happening, even before they know that what's happening to them is gang stalking. So it is a crime that definitely wants to let you know that you're a victim of it, concerning every single thing that they do towards you. Okay? They won't come out and say you're, before you, because they end up knowing that even the day you realize what's happening to you is gang stalking, because most victims of this crime, 99% of them eventually become aware that what's happening to them is gang stalking as a result of discovering it online. And every single gang stalking victim's internet activity, which can include through computers, phones, and at libraries and universities and so on. Okay, anywhere they use Wi-Fi, okay, is cyber surveilled. That's even mentioned in the YouTube video, Gang Stalking Bullying on Steroids. Hold on. Okay, so cyber surveillance can be also obviously Googled to gang stalking, so you can research it in depthly, and you will conclude that the perpetrators of this crime engage in, they basically literally monitor all the communications of a target. Emails, blogs, YouTube videos, tweets on Twitter, you name it. Okay, so, and they do this for a threat assessment and or a benefit analysis, meaning that they want to see if anything the target's doing can benefit them, or if anything the target's doing is a threat to them. Okay, let's see, what was I saying? I'm having a whiteout, I forgot why I brought this up. So until I remember, I'm going to segue into the next, to the next part of the subject matter of this video. Now, so this is a crime that intentionally wants you to know that you're a victim of it, because mental battery, psychological violence, emotional violence, and even physical violence and financial violence is their way to wear the target out. It's done to keep the target in non-stop victimized and traumatized psychological effect daily. Everything that's happening to a target through the covertly created homelessness, through all of this crime is achieved through conspiracy, okay, and surveillance. None of this crime could be perpetrated in any way, shape, or form without the law enforcement's participation in it and the protection of it. So I have no sympathy whatsoever for any police officer of any state, because it's all over the internet that the police are absolutely involved in this crime. Absolutely. Make no mistake about it. But they can also be victims of it. So, let me segue into and continue to talk to you about what the motivation is behind this video in reference to the subject matters. Okay, now I'm aware that it's taken a few minutes here for me to get going, but see, you gotta, if I have any regular viewers, which I know I have at least a few, you gotta understand that a lot of people who are coming across my videos, either in real time or as a result of discovering the account, they don't know what gang stalking is. So it's essential for a target to at least introduce to them the concepts of the concerning the fact this crime is going on, and some of the techniques, so they can research it in order to become informed. So, all right, now what I incorporated within the title of this Periscope video is a tweet link. I've already told you about how you can get to it, so follow those instructions. And once you bring that tweet link up, you're going to run across several YouTube videos. Their links, and you're not going to have to copy, you're not going to have to write those down. All you're going to have to do is press on them, and you'll be able, and the YouTube videos will immediately come up. I'm going to make this statement here. The first video is a YouTube video concerning me physically reporting that I am being gang stalked and harassed again. to the University of Michigan, Dearborn, Michigan campus safety. And that report happened as a result of the event that had just transpired in their U of M Dearborn, Michigan library. Okay, so after the event occurred, it happened about 10:30 at night. Hold on January 20th, 2011. Right after the event occurred, me and some of the individuals that played a role in the gang stalking staged event were banned for the night. So I got up and got all my belongings, and I walked directly to U of M campus safety and reported that I was being gang stalked again. I want you to understand something. That video wasn't uploaded until I got to San Diego months later, because when I was in Michigan, I did not know how to upload YouTube videos. Okay. And so what I did was I kept the memory card from the camera that I was using back then. I kept it on my person, and then once I got to San Diego, I totally got into discovering how to upload YouTube videos and buy in the necessary tools I needed in order to do it, and so then I eventually uploaded it. But understand this, every single YouTube video that is online right now, there's probably about at least 10 or 15 of them dedicated to the Michigan gang stalking of me. Every single one of those YouTube videos, the information that is in the descriptions of them, I did not put in. It was put in by the perpetrators. Absolutely. Make no mistake about it. So, I was on the Ground Zero show with Clyde Lewis on 9/01/2015, that national radio show. Its link pertaining to that specific night is incorporated within my blog. My blog is attached to the profile on my Twitter account, which you'll know how to get to once you copy and write down the URL characters of the tweet link that is incorporated within the title of this Periscope video. I've been on that show multiple times, and most of the shows that I've been on, the separate multiple shows that I've been on pertaining to that specific national radio shows, most of those separate links pertaining to each of the shows of some of the shows that I've been on pertaining to that show are in my blog as well. Okay. And you will see some information that's going to introduce to you the theme of the topics pertaining to each show. On the 9/01/2015 show, I was on the Ground Zero show and openly exposed to millions of Americans about how my email account, every single last one of them, blog accounts, every single last one of them, YouTube accounts, all of them, okay, and Twitter account had been hacked from the very beginning of the creation of all of them. It got so bad in Michigan that I just stopped going in and taking the bullshit that they put in my blogs and my email accounts out. I got sick of it. That's why I kept switching from so many blog and email accounts and YouTube accounts. Hold on. So ignore the information that is within the Michigan descriptions of the YouTube videos, because I did not put that in there, and I don't even know how many of them of the San Diego YouTube videos that they've done that too as well. But I do know that all my blogs, okay, that I have made in Michigan and Connecticut and in San Diego are absolutely hacked and always has been from the first date of their creation. Hold on. Now, so that shows me reporting, and you literally hear me even state to U of M Dearborn, Michigan campus safety personnel on 1/20/2011. You literally hear me state as I'm talking to them, okay, that I'm reporting that I'm being gang stalked again. Now, an additional thing that will help you see that it's U of M campus safety in Dearborn, Michigan that I'm talking to, one of the individuals gives the actual name of one of the campus police officers. Write down that name and then go to Google and type in that name to U of M campus safety and find it, in order so you can immediately witness that the fact that one of the individuals that the name that he gave was a U of M campus safety officer. Excuse me. Now, the reason why I'm stating this pertaining to the U of M video additionally is because U of M Dearborn, Michigan is located physically 3,000 miles away from San Diego and California. Okay, it's also hundreds of miles between Michigan and Connecticut. Now, when I left Michigan to go to Connecticut, I made at least 3 or 4 blogs, okay, and I did make some videos, but I haven't uploaded those yet, okay, and I made comments on newspapers pertaining to this crime, okay, of me experiencing gang stalking in Connecticut. I then left Connecticut and came to San Diego on August 8, 2011. Okay, and have been gang stalked along every single one of my routes, every single day, non-stop, harassed everywhere I went, including to at least 20 different wooded areas that I utilize either for to sleep and or to rest at, to be by myself at, to go through property. So I'm not being directly physically harassed by people, even though they have come up on property and harassed me, even though that they have set up homeless men to literally camp out 100 feet away from me, which I exposed on the 9/17/2013 Ground Zero show. Okay, they harassed me day and night for almost 2.5 full years, non-stop. Okay. All right, so let me just take a puff off this cigarette. Now, one of the main techniques of gang stalking is to uh, engage in sensitization techniques, and that can be extensively Googled and YouTube and researched at YouTube as well. And one of the techniques of sensitization techniques, one of many, is to prop people up around the selected target to have them repeat certain things in order to make that thing that's being repeated to become sensitized to that person. Okay, so there's a whole slew of different sensitization stimuli techniques that they will employ against the target in order to make the target sensitive to what they want the target sensitive to. And that can include, but not limited to, coughing, sneezing, clapping, whistling, everyday things that everybody does, because they want their harassment that is intentionally propped up. They form negative mental associations to the thing the target becomes sensitized to. I'll explain that a little bit more in a second. Just hear me out. Yeah. So, in fact, I'll just go ahead and state it right now. The way sensitization is formed, again, this can be extensively Googled. One of the main ways sensitizations are formed is by intentionally associating a negative event to a classically conditioned stimuli. And the stimuli can be anything from a word, phrase, physical gesture, color, or sound, or an object, and even specific types of people, like homeless people. Because 99%, I'd say at least 90% of the time, most Americans can kind of look at a person, and if they're dressed all grubby, if they're carrying a lot of bags or whatever, there's a good chance that they're going to wonder at least if that person's homeless. And that's what I'm talking about. They'll literally attempt to sensitize you to specific types of people based on the way they look. If a person looks like he might be gangish, okay, whether they're a gang member or not, if a person's homeless or whatever. So that's what I mean by that. And so what they'll do is they'll, like, say if you're verbally abusing somebody if you're being verbally abused at work by your coworkers, okay, they'll call the person crazy, weird, bully them with verbal harassment and verbal abuse. And while they're engaging in this verbal abuse, which is psychological abuse, they will anchor and associate specific stimuli to that abuse. Meaning that while the abuse is going on, while the victim is being verbally abused by calling them negative names and everything, what they'll do is they'll get around this as a for instance, they'll get around a person at work and constantly call them crazy and weird and demented, and while they're doing this, they'll cough in specific ways, or they'll put their hands to their face in specific ways, or they'll maybe say a key word or a phrase like, oh my God, you're crazy, oh my God, you're weird, oh my God, what's the matter with you, shit like that. And then once they do that for 90 straight days in a row, that victim is going to not only feel psychologically abused, but they're going to become sensitive to that phrase, oh my God. You understand? Because it's always attached to the verbal abuse. And that's what I mean by them intentionally associating a stimuli to the abuse. Then once they repeat this over 90 days, they're aware that the victim has become sensitive to the specific phrase. You understand? Okay. And that's how the stimuli that's how the specific stimuli that's being intentionally used as the abuse is occurring, that's how the target becomes sensitive to it. As a result of them becoming sensitive to it, whenever the stimuli is represented, the target has an emotional response and a mental response. And since gang stalking wants to intentionally let you know that you're being stalked, okay, in order so you can be harassed every day through the sensitization techniques, okay, because they want you to know that you're being abused and stalked in order to make you feel abused and stalked. by and through, but not limited to, repeating the stimuli that is attached to what the target's been sensitized to. So extensively research what sensitization methods is, and you will understand, absolutely. I mean, you will literally in your face understand. Now, what they've been doing with me is propping people up along my routes, and even using business employees, including management and even security of business plazas. Just bear with me, okay, because you'll see this unfold as you continue to hear me speak. So what they've been doing with me ever since I've been in San Diego is propping people up around me to engage in specific gang stalking physical gestures, which is what they did in Michigan. They also had people get around me in Michigan and repeat, "Oh my God, weird and crazy," amongst a bunch of other sick shit, including assault, okay, including making me homeless as well. But what they've been doing in San Diego since I've been here is having people propped up around me to constantly repeat, "Oh my God, gang stalk, oh my God, weird, oh my God, crazy, gang stalk, oh my God, gang stalk, suck my D-I-C-K, gang stalk, suck on that D-I-C-K, gang stalk, suck my D-I-C-K, non-stop, every day, everywhere I go." And my tape recorder does not lie. The evidence that is incorporated within the tweet link that is incorporated within the title of this Periscope video does not lie. Now, when I'm also making a note statement here, the first video in that tweet link shows me reporting it to U of M, Dearborn, Michigan, campus safety on 1/20/2011. Within that video, you'll clearly be able to hear me state to this U of M library, but you also hear me clearly state that individuals are that are participating in this harassment, okay, are engaging in what is known as hand signals, okay. Now, on January 28, 2012, here in San Diego, I caught 3 teenagers admitting they were put on the 928 MTS bus after I had already got on it at a previous bus stop. I got on the bus went down the road, and then they got on it, sat down directly in front of me, and engaged in these gang-stalking physical gestures, hand signals. Later on, and then I went about my day and went to SDSU, which is a university campus, a college campus, and then I retracked along my same routes to go back to where I originally came from that morning, okay? So meaning that I ended up having to take the same bus route to get back once I got off the trolley that I got on from SDSU. When I got back on that bus, okay, once I rode my bike from the trolley station to the 928 bus route, so the bus route can take me back to the location that I was staying at that time, which just happened to be right next door to the San Diego FBI, when they used to be located off of Aerial Drive, AERO, and Ruffin Road here in San Diego. They have since moved. Okay, I camped right next to them for over 8 months. Okay, was gang stalked and harassed there as well. It's right behind the Stonecrest Plaza Walmart. Okay, so when I got back on the 928 bus, I don't know if they were already on the bus in the back of the bus, or if they got on it after I got on it, and I didn't notice it because I was reading a newspaper, and the newspaper was covering the front of my face. So when I got off at my bus stop at Stonecrest Plaza Walmart, headed to that camping area, which was located right next door to the San Diego FBI when their building used to be there back in 2011 and 12, when I got off the bus at the Stonecrest Plaza Walmart bus stop, I heard some people talking behind me, and I turned and looked, and it was the same 3 teenagers. And so I approached them, and they confessed about a third party putting them on the bus to engage in these gang-stalking physical gestures, hand signals. The same exact identical thing that I was already all over the internet exposing pertaining to that being propped up also along my route since August 8, 2011. I've also caught 3 additional individuals between that date, okay, in October 2013, admitting they were put in my physical presence to do this very same thing. All 3 of those being UCSD students. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that you can also go to Google and type in sensitization methods and hand signals, physical gestures. It's part of the sensitization technique. So they were openly caught, and within 3 weeks of catching, they were caught on tape, and then that tape was uploaded to YouTube. You can go to YouTube and type in "Learning Disabled Woman Catches Gang Stalkers Admitting Sent to Harass, Read Comments." That's the title of that YouTube video that holds the audio evidence. You'll clearly hear them admit it, and then you hear me say, "Well, don't worry, I won't use your name," or something like that. And that was because I was preparing to go to a law firm. I seen what bus stop that they got on that morning, which just happened to be right up the street from the San Diego Eastern Division Police Department. So I figured, since I was looking up a lawyer in a law firm, that lawyer might be able to hire a private investigator and find those individuals. Okay. So I said, don't worry about it. I won't use your name. And that's the reason why I said that. I wanted to reassure them that I wasn't going to eventually get them into trouble. I was interested in the individual they said that propped them up to do it. They confessed it was a guy by the name of Jamar. So anyways, just listen to the audio on that, and also look at the YouTube video that is incorporated within the description of that YouTube video, because it literally shows a video that I made the month before showing me state that I was enjoying this at bus stops and at universities on bus routes. Okay, so I think that right there should send you a red flag that you hear me reporting it to U of M Dearborn, Michigan campus safety, that these individuals harass me in their library and that they're engaging in hand signals, and then I come all the way to San Diego from Connecticut, went to Connecticut from Michigan, and have caught at least 6 people. I've actually caught 7. One admitted that a San Diego police officer told him to do it. So you can go to YouTube and type in 2/20/13 learning disabled woman catches another gang stalker admitting sent her harassment comments. Listen to that all the way up to the very last second of the video. So I'm getting bogged down here in a little bit of too many details. So now I believe it was in October 2013. You can go to YouTube and type in learning disabled woman exposes SDPD gross negligence of duty. That video shows me reporting to two SDPD officers, that individuals that work in Jack in the Box off of Rosecrans and Nimitz Boulevard in Point Loma, San Diego, California. It shows me telling 2 SDPD officers that every time I come into this Jack in the Box and along my routes, people are being propped up to repeat gang stalking, and oh my God. I told them that at that time I had about at least 300 audio files to prove it. You clearly hear me stating that I would like to get together with him and meet him at a San Diego Police Department so he can hear all these audio files. They denied wanting to do that. Okay, and then it also shows the police going into Jack in the Box, basically playing their role, like they're acting like they're investigating the event. I called them as a result of an event transpiring in that Jack in the Box. You can go to YouTube and type in learning disabled woman exposes being gang stalked at Jack in the Box, Rosecrans, and Nimitz Boulevard. There's at least 20 videos of people saying this shit around me in that Jack in the Box. It's also been caught in other Jack in the Boxes as well. Okay, so you clearly hear me state to him how I'm being harassed. Now, if memory serves me correctly, because that was a 2013 event, and it's now 2017, so that was 4 years ago. So you clearly hear me state that, because you not only hear me state it because the event was recorded and then uploaded from the audio file to YouTube, that YouTube video's got a publish date. Now, what's in the remaining videos that I incorporated within the tweet that is incorporated within the title of this Periscope video? It shows me catching the San Diego prosecutors and public defenders doing it in 2015, in October 23rd, 2015. There's also a video showing me playing 3 SDPD officers and 2 San Diego Park Rangers, 2 separate audio files from 2 separate events, and both of those events happened in locations that are 170 miles apart. A portion of the Yucca Valley event, one audio file of at least 50 audio files of me being gang stalked when I went to Yucca Valley from La Jolla in 2012. Yucca Valley is 180 miles from Okay. Now, it also shows me playing them a portion of the Thanksgiving event that occurred in La Jolla on Thanksgiving Day 2013. As both of these events are unfolding, it literally shows at least 4 different people, 2 from the Yucca Valley event, okay, and 2 dedicated to the Thanksgiving event that happened in La Jolla. It shows them repeating gang stalk and threats while gang stalking is being said. Just hear me out. Now, that event of me showing the 3 San Diego police officers in Rose Canyon while they were standing with me and also 2 San Diego Park Rangers, it's a YouTube video of the actual event of me showing them these 2 small sections of proof from sections of the audio files when these events transpired. It literally shows me playing it to them and me explaining what it is before I do. Now, that event occurred in Rose Canyon, which is a park located here in San Diego. It occurred on 8/9/2015. Okay? Alright? You clearly hear in that video me explaining to them what it is. verbally. Then you hear me show the audio file of what I explained is on the audio files, right? I got a ticket from that event that occurred in Rose Canyon on the pertaining to that event that was unfolding in Rose Canyon, pertaining to what you're going to see. I got a ticket for illegal lodging. Now, when I went to court for that ticket, as I'm standing outside of one of the court rooms pertaining to the many court visits I had to go to pertaining to that ticket, I literally caught on my tape recorder at least 3 San Diego prosecutors and at least between 2 to 4 San Diego prosecutors doing the same exact identical to-a-T thing that I had exposed to the 2 San Diego police officers pertaining to the Jack in the Box event and to the same audio files that I played concerning the Rose Canyon event that I just described. The same exact identical to-a-T thing. Them doing. Now, there's also another video that's incorporated within the tweet link showing me describing the same technique being used on me by homeless men that have propped themselves up to camp out close by me. It clearly shows me stating what I'm enduring. When you look at the published dates and the video pictures of the evidence when it was caught on the tape recorders, because the videos literally show the time and date stamp of the audio file that the San Diego prosecutors and public defenders were caught. Now, the YouTube videos are already online, and the event that happened at the Jack in the Box clearly shows that these events happens on separate dates, in separate calendar years, at separate locations. All the videos that are incorporated within that YouTube link show me exposing that I'm being gang stalked, including the U of M one, because you clearly hear me state I'm reporting I'm being gang stalked in Michigan. Then it shows the San Diego videos clearly showing what I'm enduring along my routes. People saying these words and phrases in the same exact identical way. Tape recorders don't lie. Okay. Now, the reason why I decided to make this video was because I wanted you to be able to see that I am left in this non-stop continued victimization every day, day in and day out. Now, what these words and phrases and the sensitization techniques that are done to victims, it's done to mentally batter them, because these sensitization methods are always associated to, as the target becomes sensitized to them, to a previous psychological trauma. Every time the sensitization method is represented, the target's thinking goes right back to not only the original trauma that it was associated with as the target was becoming sensitized, okay, but it's intentionally designed to play mental and emotional ping pong. Every time the target hears it, the brain instinctively registers it to be associated to the prior abuse and the stimulated memories of it. And that's the purpose of it. It's psychological violence. It's a classically conditioned psychological mechanic that is being employed on targets in order to play intentional mental ping pong with the target. Every time the target hears the sensitization technique, they have a mental response, an emotional response, and a physiological response. Now, can you imagine people doing this along your routes every day, everywhere you go, for you to see and or hear nonstop? That being coupled with all of the massive amounts of victimization and all the resulting emotional responses and mental responses that you experience as a result of this crime, intentionally letting you know that it created the homelessness of you. All of the victimization that's associated with that, between the monetary loss, the property loss based on staged property thefts, the assaults that are staged, because when you're living in a wooded area, you don't have a front door anymore to protect you. And when they stage an assault and even an arrest, they intentionally, creatively let you know it's because of gang stalking. Right? While they hide everything they do through lying about it, okay, and leaving the target continually left in the victimization of it. Okay, including the police. The police will engage in sensitization methods right to your face to intentionally, creatively, overtly, directly let you know that they're part of it. Make no mistake about it. And if you expose them for that, they'll call you crazy, which is a method of gang stalking. Google that. Okay, so there's a lot of psychological mechanics connected to the perpetration of gang stalking crimes. So you can go to Google and extensively research this crime. You can also research gang stalking, and all this crime also goes by the name of organized stalking. So I strongly suggest that all my descriptions first be researched to gang stalking, then go back and type in each description to organized stalking. Now, there's also other methods like DNLP, which is called Dark Neurolinguistic Programming, where they will constantly get around the target and repeat negative words. Okay, where they you can also research the direct conversation method of stalking. So let's take a look at this just for a second. Imagine you being victimized through a crime that intentionally made you homeless, which additionally victimized through the police through falsified arrest, falsified staged events that produce tickets that cause you to have to go to court, and then you're mentally battered through psychological mechanics, even in the courthouse, directly connected to gang stalking, because they want you constantly focused on the fact you're a victim of this crime. And that's done by and through these classically conditioned, intentional classical conditioned negative mental associations. And that is realized by the target as a result of every time they're presented this every day, non-stop. Most of the people that are used to represent the sensitization techniques are mostly just duped community members who have been lied to about the target. Then you got the social deviants, the punks, and the criminals that are brought on board in this campaign. They're told what to do towards the target or the target's property as a result of them being told where the target's at in real time. So we're looking at now staged assaults and robberies and even rapes. Okay. We also got to look at how the target's trying to survive the homelessness while they're enduring all this along the routes and in the areas they go to. Then you got to look at all the electronic sabotage that is happening to a target's electronics, their phones, their computers. Okay, hold on. And additionally, all the property vandalism and theft that is occurring, because when you're homeless, you got to hide your property, okay, at wooded areas. They know what you're doing at all times in real time, so I strongly suggest you research extensively how these psycho-demented animals are breaking into apartments' homes and installing miniature cameras, miniature tape recorders, and so on. Why is it also all over the internet that these psycho-demented animals are also using electronics that are called see-through wall radar guns, thermal imaging? All my descriptions can be Googled to gang stalking, because that's how they can see what you're doing in your home, them monitoring you from outside your home. So they know where you're at, they can see what you're doing, they take that information, catalog it, and say, well, like let's just say if you got some evidence and you're in your home and you want to hide it, right? Well, they can see what you're doing from outside your home through the aforementioned descriptions. They wait till you leave, and then they break in and either alter it, edit it, or steal it. Okay. And they'll leave a calling card to let you know your home's been invaded. So Google that as well. Okay. So then you got to look at how the courts and the prosecutors and the police victimize you, which keeps you intentionally entrapped in this crime continually. If law enforcement, including DA's office, prosecutors, public defenders, and police, and even state attorney generals will not investigate you being gang stalked, then you're obviously left in the continued victimization of it. And that is done so they can buy time for the crime to continue until they can achieve the criminal motivations they have for you, which includes racketeering, insurance fraud, human trafficking, illegal probate control, group homes, so they can make money off you by treating you like a straw person for federal and state funds, insurance fraud, and human trafficking. Absolutely. So my fellow American citizens, it was my intention to take them from campsite to campsite to campsite to catch the evidence that they were stupid enough to prop up around me at these campsites, expose it on the internet, and then catch it also along my routes, because they were stupid enough to prop up the same exact identical harassment along my routes here in San Diego, which they're now starting to stop doing that in reference to the verbal harassment and going back to using specific other sensitization techniques that they've always applied towards me here too as well. Because you can't catch some of these other sensitization techniques that they're employing against you on a tape recorder. I'm saying. So let's take a look at this. I have already caught 6 individuals in San Diego admitting they were put in my physical presence in separate locations and separate dates to engage in gang stalking physical gestures. The three UCSD students. The one individual who admitted a San Diego cop told him to do it right after I had left the courthouse and went to Point Loma. Okay, the courthouse being downtown San Diego. And then the 3 teenagers who admitted they were put on the 928 bus. Remember, you hear me state in the U of M video that these individuals in U of M, Dearborn, Michigan, were constantly engaged in hand signals. What I meant by that were physical gestures. Hold on. And which is part of the sensitization technique. So I want you to really think about what I'm saying. All these other YouTube videos were already online pertaining to the Jack in the Box event that occurred in October 2013. You clearly hear me state to these two SDPD officers that individuals are getting along my routes and repeating gang stalking, oh my God, and the fact that it was going on in this Jack in the Box. Caught on video. I've already told you how to find those, okay, pertaining to that Jack in the Box. They lie it's occurring. They even try and state that people are saying I'm the problem. They even threaten me with psychiatric reprisal, but yet refuse to listen to any of my audio evidence. Now, the key to that is remembering what I stated I was enduring along my routes and in that Jack in the Box. The same exact identical thing that prosecutors and public defenders were caught doing. But they weren't caught until October 23rd, 2015. I had already had hundreds of videos online showing me state that I was enduring that at wooded areas, at UCSD, at SDSU, in grocery stores. Rouse grocery stores been caught. I got a video in my blog showing me reporting to SDPD as a result of me calling SDPD and Rouse calling SDPD pertaining to a Rouse grocery store off of Friars and Frazee Road within a plaza that's called Friars Mission Center. I had to call SDPD on Rouse employees and management because they were saying it. So when they come out, they say that, well, we're here because Rouse called us. You clearly see me stating to SDPD during that event on video that they're saying repeating gang stalk. Okay. You clearly hear me state that. Now, this is dedicated to that Friars Mission Center Ross grocery store located off of Friars and Frazee Road in San Diego when I used to be camping in that area. I then moved to La Jolla and have caught on hundreds of audio files of it occurring in the Ross grocery store off of Villa La Jolla Square Drive. And at least 3 or 4 of those videos are online right now. They're in my blog, and they're also attached as YouTube videos within tweet links that are dedicated to the tweet chain that the tweet that is incorporated within the title of this video, okay, is attached to. So think about this, because when I caught the Ross grocery store on the 1221 or 1225 event of me catching them off of La Jolla Villa Square Drive, it's in my blog. You'll know which one it is because it's introduced in this format. You clearly show me the audio file clearly shows me ask the Roth employees what their address is. Okay. You clearly hear me state, how do you like working at Rouse? Do you understand? So this event occurred at a second Rouse after that October 2012 event happened at the other Rouse. Now, how can the same exact identical harassment be caught at SDSU, UCSD, videos are in my blog, okay, hiking areas, Rose Canyon, Yucca Valley, okay, and in multiple other restaurants, 2 different Walmarts? How? Because they were exposed to in 2012, the Stonecross Plaza Walmart of it occurring back then. How can all these businesses, libraries, university campuses, okay, and MTS bus routes it's been caught too? How can all this identical to a T harassment be caught on my tape recorder if it wasn't occurring? Which the police will never acknowledge that it is occurring. But they rely on police reports about it. You better be damn sure. Okay. So, my fellow American citizens, go to my blog, which is attached to the profile of this Twitter account. And that Twitter account is dedicated to the tweet link that is incorporated within the title of this Periscope video. This is an evidence video. Now, I want you to also understand something and know this down to the marrow of your bone. Every single time in 3 different states that I have prepared to go to lawyers, by researching lawyers online, I have either been arrested, ticketed, forced to move, or creatively entrapped to go to homeless shelters. Every single time. In Michigan, Connecticut, and San Diego. Every single time. And I'm talking about repeated events. Every single time. So how do they know I'm looking up lawyers? Well, let me just interject this real fast, and then I gotta go. When I went to Yucca Valley from La Jolla, it was my intent to go to Yucca Valley to try and connect with another gang stalking victim. He's either being openly gang stalked or he's being subjected to what are known as subcrimes of gang stalking, neural and biological implantation. So you can go to Google and type in non-consensual human experimentation and gang stalking crimes. It's all over the internet, exposed by thousands of individuals. Okay, his name being David Larson. David Larson has been on multiple YouTube video interviews exposing what's happening to him. You can go to Google and type in David Larson torture report. You'll find a huge documentation file, which also includes the implants that were taken out of his body. You can also research David Larson on YouTube. Just type in David Larson, either electronic harassment or neural implantation and or gang stalking, and you'll find his YouTube interviews. Some of them are incorporated within my blog. Okay, so I looked up David Larson I knew he lived in Yucca Valley by listening to one of his YouTube videos. So I looked up his address at the North University San Diego Public Library, at UCSD, and at SDSU Library. So you can go to Google and type in libraries and gang stalking, universities and gang stalking, and cyber surveillance and gang stalking. Do you really honestly think that any gang stalking crime is going to operate outside of its protocols? No, what it does is it follows their protocols in order to achieve their objectives, and that includes the surveillance. So they can see what a target's doing online. They could see I was preparing to go from La Jolla to Yucca Valley because I was looking up all Greyhound and Amtrak services to get, and public service transportation services to get from La Jolla to Yucca Valley by and through SDSU library computers, UCSD library computers, because I didn't have my own personal computer back then, a laptop. I bought that in 2013. Okay, so I was literally using their library computers as a guest. Okay, so you can look, when you research cyber surveillance and gang stalking at libraries, university campuses, okay, you will deduce that it's occurring because it's being exposed by thousands of people. So they can see what you're looking up online, and they know why you're going there because they can see I looked up David Larson's address and MapQuested how to get from, once I got to the last bus that I would take to get to Yucca Valley, and then I looked up how to get their Yucca Valley transportation services. Once I got to Yucca Valley, I looked up what public transportation services that I would have to take in Yucca Valley to get from their public transportation hub to his house, closest to his house as I could get. I was gang stalked along every single one of my routes in Yucca Valley and subject to the same exact identical to a T verbal harassment, identical to a T that has been caught on thousands of audio files here in San Diego. And also pay attention to this. I got indisputable evidence that "oh my God" was one of the main words that were being perpetrated around me in Michigan. Well, saying gang stalk, "oh my God," has been caught on thousands of audio files here in San Diego. Do you think that's an accident? Okay. So, my fellow American citizens, I strongly suggest you go to Google and type in gang stalking, sensitization methods, repeating words and phrases. Then go back to Google and type in gang stalking, sensitization methods, repeating identical words and phrases. And here's another thing they've been doing to me ever since this physical gang stalking campaign has started, including what they did to me in Michigan. After they created the homelessness of me from several different apartments in Michigan, they would engage in techniques that were designed in order to intentionally make me fearful about being ticketed and arrested in Michigan. I made Google group forum posts about it in Michigan. I can prove what date I came from Connecticut to San Diego on August 8, 2011. Now, since I've been in San Diego, I've made hundreds of YouTube videos about being threatened that the police were going to be called as a result of me engaging in camping, which I only do since, like, for the past 2 years, I've only been pertaining to the camping, is where I basically just put the tent up at night, sleep in it, get up the next morning, take it down. For a while there in 2011 and 12, I was just leaving my tent up. I don't do that anymore. Okay, because I know they were eventually going to stage arrest and tickets for it. Okay, so the point being is that the same technique that they employed in Michigan that I described in Google Group Forum post and more, they're employing towards me here in San Diego. They sent me text messages, at least 70 of them, to my older phone, stating we're going to set you up for illegal lodging and have you arrested for it. Okay, they also sent me 3 letters in the mail. Those were copied, scanned, and attached as PDF links and incorporated within my blog. So when you get to my blog, look for the Jonathan PDF links and you'll find them. Hold on. Okay. And you will also see videos of the text messages that were sent to my phone, and you will also see videos of me telling 2 separate San Diego police officers, one being a detective from the San Diego Northern Division, Sergeant Bernstein, okay, and a San Diego cop inside the San Diego City Hall, you literally show me reporting the nature of these text messages, and you also see videos in my blog of the actual text messages. You can clearly see that they were threatening to call the police and have me arrested for illegal lodging. And listen to this, and then I gotta go. On Christmas Day 2014, I was in Rose Canyon, fooling around, trying to attempt to finding an isolated spot to be by myself. It was early in the morning of 2014 on Christmas Day. I literally heard an individual say, "Gang stalk, let's call the cops," and have her arrested for illegal lodging, along those lines. So what I did was I made a tweet about it, okay, stating what I had heard. Once you put a tweet on Twitter, it's got a timestamp on it, a date and timestamp on it, right? Later on in the day, they sent a text message to my phone stating, "We're calling the police and have you arrested for illegal lodging." The same phone number that sent that text message also sent at least 30 or 40 other ones repeating gang stalk. Oh my God. You understand? And I can prove it because when you get a text message, most phones have a feature within the text message service that allows you to find the details pertaining to who sent you the text message, pertaining to their phone number, which encompasses and includes area codes, and the time the text message was sent. Now, so what I did was I took a snap screenshot, not only of the text message, but the details of who sent it. It shows that it was sent on the same day, Christmas Day 2014. Now, this fact was literally exposed to Sergeant Bernstein in the Northern Division San Diego Police Department on September 1st, 2015. It literally shows me visually recording, using a video camera recording, showing me report this to her. The fact that I heard what I heard in Rose Canyon, the fact that I sent a tweet about what I heard, and then got a text message on the same date at about 4:30 p.m., literally regurgitating the same exact thing that I said I heard. Now, that's identical to a T pertaining to statements I made pertaining to the type of harassment that I was stating I was enduring at wooded areas in Michigan. You understand? That's no accident. Now, to wrap this up for you, understand this. Incorporated within my blog are sections, different sections of this that are dedicated to the Stockton San Antonio. Those two women from a news broadcast that occurred on February 17, 2010, showed two women being covered on the news in San Antonio as a result of them being gang stalking victims, right? Now, the section within my blog that's dedicated to Stockton San Antonio shows me showing that news broadcast and the transcript from it. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because when I was out here in San Diego in 2006, I went to the Point Loma Library and made some emails that were sent to different people. Tim Worthy, a Wayne County prosecutor in Michigan, okay, and Amnesty International, and some emails I sent to myself. In these emails, it flat out shows me describing gang stalking techniques. Now, in one of the emails, it shows how I stated that things don't disappear in your apartment and then magically reappear at a later date. Okay, that's the testimony of one of the women in the Stockton San Antonio YouTube video, which is a news broadcast. The other woman in that video, of the two women, states that her home was broken into, and one of the things they did, amongst a bunch of other things, was that the perpetrators that broke into her home and turned on all the lights. Okay, well, in the 2008 email that's incorporated as a PDF link, shows the 2006 email I made and a 2008 email I made, pertaining to how they did the same exact identical to a T, word-for-word technique towards me in at least 3 apartments in Michigan. Okay? Now, and it was either in November or December of 2016, a San Diego woman was covered on the news here by ABC as a result of her being a gang stalking victim. So you can go to YouTube and type in San Diego mother thinks she's a victim of community stalking. Okay? It's a very short news broadcast. They only covered her for about 1 minute and 30 seconds. Okay? In this news broadcast, you clearly hear her state one thing amongst a bunch of other things. And that one thing is that they broke into her apartment and turned on all the lights. So we're talking about 3 women, 3 separate states. Me, Michigan, the 2006 email I made here in San Diego about some of the things I endured in Michigan apartments before coming to San Diego. Okay? the 2008 email I made in Michigan, which was dedicated to those previous apartments as well that I was talking about in the 2006 email. Okay? Then you got the 2 women from San Antonio, Texas. Then you got the woman from San Diego. So that's 4 women, identical to a T testimony. My testimony came first. Now, the reason I brought that up was not just to expose it, but to also show you that this is a nationwide organized crime syndicate that's operating on the same techniques and methods. And remember what I said pertaining to how in Michigan, they were constantly verbalizing along my routes and yelling things for me to hear as I was in wooded areas that, why don't we call the cops and get the bitch out of here, while they were saying, oh my God. That's the same exact identical technique that they've been using on me here in San Diego from the very first day I arrived. Identical to a T. Okay. Alright, so sorry, it looks like that I got switched to the home screen, which I actually talked about. I don't know how long that's been going on. Okay, so I'm sorry if you haven't been able to see me for a minute or two, but that's not something that I can do by myself while I'm in the middle of broadcasting. Now, the previous video that's right below this one in this Periscope account that I attempted to make shows me predicting that maybe occurring as I was attempting to make that video. So my fellow American citizens, research what I've stated in this video, and I think you will eventually deduce truth. And then say to yourself, can you imagine what it's like having to live in constant fear about being assaulted in wooded areas that you're being intentionally forced to stay in as a result of you being kept in this crime because of the corruption of the police, who are now conveniently appearing magically along my routes and attempting to offer me homeless services? Do you honestly think that for 1 second I would ever trust any SDPD officer or any other police officer here in California? Because I know what they are absolutely and directly connected to. They've already filed 2 falsified police reports concerning me attempting to make police reports about being gang stalked here in San Diego, and I absolutely know what they intentionally staged towards me when I was out there in 2006. My name is Leslie Williams. I made this video to inform, to expose the truth, dissect the evidence, and you will see truth. Okay? Make no mistake about it. I've already caught this shit occurring right inside the San Diego Police Department headquarters. I caught this shit occurring right inside the San Diego City Council meeting chambers. Those videos are already online. I gotta go, and I cannot stand being recorded through my home screen because I never comb my hair before I make a video. Alright, I gotta go because this video turned out to be a lot longer than I wanted it to be. Let's see if I'm not able to upload it to YouTube. Let's see if it's not uploadable to Periscope either. And I make these statements because I am using my tape recorder right now to literally tape my statements, just in case it does occur. Alright, I gotta go. I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams. I made this video to inform, to expose evidence, and to make predictions. Let's see if any of my predictions come true. Please say a prayer for my safety. I am not involved in any illegal activity whatsoever. I do not drink, or I do not do drugs. I do not associate myself with anybody and never have for 1 second for the entire time that I've been in San Diego, and never will until I get out of this crime. This video was made in order to present it to a lawyer, either physically and or by and through, copying and pasting its URL link and faxing it or hand delivering it or mailing it to a law firm or lawyer. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.